Timeline wise, we have prehistory, then we have Harappa. I'm not putting years there right now because I don't want to complicate things for you with unnecessary facts at this juncture. Harappa. Harappa is the first urbanization of India that took place in the northwest Indus Valley. That is an area which was larger than today's Pakistan. It included today's Pakistan, parts of India, parts of Afghanistan also. Harappa. It was based on bronze, bronze urbanization, and it was trading with entire world. We have found its trading links with Mesopotamia also, and now with South India also at the same time. So across the world, even in Central Asia, they were trading. So they were trading civilization, but that trade, that urbanization, those great cities with full planning, etc., they rested on certain basic thing, agricultural surplus. You have to be the first, you have to be the great agrarian culture first to create the surplus. जब तक एक आदमी अपने लिए उगा रहा है, you can't have, हर एक को अपना खाना बनाना पड़ेगा. You have to have surplus. So you have to have good agrarian technology of seeds, of planting, of cropping, of water management, everything, seasons knowledge, so that one person can create food for two, three, four people. Then you have surplus. That surplus will be traded, and then you have cities and state and bureaucracy and armies, etc. Those who engage in secondary and tertiary parts of the economy. So primary economy, secondary, tertiary. आप basics तो आपको जानते हो, primary, secondary, tertiary. So Hadappans, although they were at tertiary level, they rested on the foundation of agriculture. That is one. But somehow something happened and Hadappans gradually declined. Initially, it was thought that there was sudden decline and they vanished. That's what British thought. We have documentaries also of great British historians calling कि Hadappans को कैसे गायब हो गए पता नहीं. They even had a theory that it is the Aryans who came from outside who obliterated them, who finished them, who killed them. देखो सीधी बात है, चश्मा जो होता है ना वो दुनिया दिखाता है. Europeans have done that across the world. They went to America, finished the locals. They went to Australia, finished the locals. So they always thought कि कोई बाहर से आएगा सबको मार देगा. That is how we colonize. तो इंडिया में वही हुआ होगा. आर्यन आए होंगे, they finished the locals, हड़प्पन्स. That is अब उनके कर्म थे वैसे उनको वही दिखाई दिया. So but that theory was hogwash, nonsense. So we have the huge debate about the reasons for decline of हड़प्पन्स. आज के दिन में चश्मा क्या है हमारा? Climate change. Because that is today's crisis. देखो past अलग है, history अलग है. History is which questions do you ask based on present requirement. Today we are grappling with climate change. We see हड़प्पा क्यों decline हुआ climate change. आज से 50 साल बाद अगर हम जिंदा रहे अगर तो we might have different questions to ask for हड़प्पन्स, we might get different answers. But that is the हड़प्पा. AI होगा अब क्या पता. So then you have a gap. Now we know that it was not the invading Aryans who destroyed Harappa. Harappans were already in the decline mode. Cities were already deserted when the incoming Aryans, not invading, incoming Aryans in small groups, 50 ka kabila, 20 ka kabila, 40, they trickle, they trickle, they trickled into India at this point of time. And then you have the beginning of something called as the Vedic era. Vedic era. The Vedic era is a long era of 1000 years. 1500 BC से 600 BC. And if you have such a long era, it cannot be static. There is internal change. There is a progress. So we divided into early Vedic and later Vedic. First half is early Vedic, later half is later Vedic. And of all the Vedic literature we study in detail, we study the Vedas, Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka, etc. Upanishads also we refer to sometimes. So in all that, we know which are the older ones, which are the newer ones. So only certain portions of Rigved are the older ones. So when you divide this era into two parts, early and later, this is only Rigved. This is all other Vedic literature. Rigved. So, if you want to reconstruct the history of the first 500 years of Vedic people, we rely on only Rigved, that to part of it, not completely. It composed in that point of time. And in the later 500 years, other parts of the Vedas were composed and compiled. When the Vedic era ends, the North India has changed completely. By the end of Vedic era, we again have cities coming up. मतलब लगभग 1000-1200 साल बाद दोबारा शहर बने. It's like economic environment में क्या होता है? Successions. The first succession was done. The second succession. In that, we have certain elements that may have continued from Vedic era, Harappan era in culture, but by and large, there is a difference which is very known to us. The first urbanization was in Indus Valley. The second was in Ganga Valley. First one was based on bronze. Second one is based on iron. Then first one is trading with the world. Second one is primarily trading internally. So we have those differences. In the second urbanization, where various states coming up, we call them Mahajanapadas. So we have the era of the 16 Mahajanapadas starting. Again, you see how much restricted we are due to our sources. When we say Vedic era, which area does it talk about? Only northeast part of India. Rest of India, we don't know much, no literature available. When you talk of Mahajanapada era, except for one Mahajanapad, which is south of Narmada, everything is only North India. बाकी एकदम extreme east, extreme west, extreme south की बात ही नहीं है. So they don't talk of entire India. They talk of one part of India about which they have resources. We have resources available. But anyway, the 16 Mahajanapadas emerged in North India, and they are the first territorial states which are now emerging. मतलब क्या है? In the case of Vedic era, we were tribal, pastoralist, and slightly agrarian people. From there, we created use of iron, settlements, permanent settlements with massive use of agriculture. That led to emergence of surplus. That led to cities emerging, which is the background for the Mahajanapada. So every Mahajanapada has one important capital city and perhaps more than one cities. They have a bureaucracy. Why do we need bureaucracy? To collect taxes. Simple, basic funda. Why do you need to collect taxes? Because you want to feed your army. Why do you need your army? You have to protect yourself or fight the neighbor. Basic function of state, give protection. So army चाहिए and for army salary चाहिए, for that revenue चाहिए. पहले एक ट्राइब में पूरी ट्राइब फाइट करती थी. Now you are agrarian person. अब आपको किसानी करनी है. You don't have time for fighting all the time. So you want to outsource the fighting. तो उसके बदले कुछ देना पड़ेगा. टैक्स तो दो कम से कम. है ना? सिंपल बात है. So you have the state apparatus emerging. Very basic thing. Then the 16th Mahajanapada era is therefore called as second urbanization of India. This era is very interesting. You have great cities, you have great states, great bureaucracies, great machines of warfare. We have great philosophies emerging. This is a time when you have Buddhism and Jainism emerging. So, Buddhism and Jainism, we study that here. Buddha and Vardhaman Mahavir are from this era. From here, when these Mahajanapadas are constantly fighting with each other all the time, they have the imperial ideology that I want to conquer everything. Samrat बनना है, विराट, एकराट, चक्रवर्ती राजा का ideal. Ultimately, one of the Mahajanapadas succeeds. That is Magadhan. Magadhan. And Magadhan में जो dynasty आती है इसका नाम Mauryan है. So we have the Mauryan era. Mauryan era is the era of Chanakya, era of Chandragupta, era of Ashoka. So now this is the first subcontinental empire in India, which connected from Afghanistan till Karnataka and till east में Bengal and Kashmir. Even Srinagar city is said to be founded by Ashok only. कहानियों में. So we have those things. First empire which is subcontinental. We'll discuss. We have 2 3 lectures only for Mauryan Empire. But no empire lasts forever. एक समय आएगा निजाम गिरेगा. So we have Mauryan Empire के बाद something called as Post-Mauryan. This Post-Mauryan era is a very long era of 500 years. अब एक बात रह गई मेरी बताने की. While all these things were going on, was India immune to external influences? It was not. India was constantly being exposed to external influences. For example, in this era, we have Persians attacking us, Darius, Xerxes, Cyrus, etc. Because this is the era of the great Persian Empire, Achaemenid Empire. अपने नेबर में बड़ा एम्पायर पहले बन गया था, so they used to attack us, invade us. They conquered Punjab for some time, etc. They are actually fighting with the Greeks, but they need Indian resources, Indian manpower, Indian gold. So they come and fight first in invasions. It is a time of Buddha. Then at the end of Mahajanapada era, we have Greeks. Most importantly, Alexander. Alexander comes to northwest rim of India and then goes back. Next. But Alexander doesn't come alone, doesn't go back alone. He implants, उसको पता नहीं कितना syndrome है superiority का. The Greek people have too much of a superiority syndrome. हमारा culture, हमारी भाषा सब पे ला देंगे. So wherever Alexander went, in Egypt ho, Syria ho, Persia ho, Afghanistan ho, he just planted his colonies. We want to culturally colonize these people. So when Alexander went, he actually created many cities in every part of the world, जहाँ जहाँ conquer किया, including parts of Afghanistan, Central Asia. जैसे कि and देखो narcissism of next level. Every city was called Alexandria. One Alexandria today is called Kandahar. Kandahar is nothing but Alexandria का एक format change होके कंदहार बना है. So we have him implanting culture, implanting Greek traders and rulers and soldiers in different cities. So these people which he planted would have continued to conquer India, but there was a rise of Mauryan Empire. Mauryans were pretty strong. The founder of Mauryan Empire even defeated these people, Seleucus Nicator, who was the governor of Alexander. उसको युद्ध में हरा दिया. बेचारे कोने पे रह गए. Across Hindu Kush they couldn't come, but they bide their time. वो रुके रहे कि एम्पायर चलो अब कितना 4 पीढ़ी 5 पीढ़ी चलाओगे फिर हम यहीं बैठे हैं. Long term strategy, right? So Mauryans lasted for 150 200 years at max. And when Mauryans declined, उन्होंने कहा अब हमारा मौका आया है. Now we will conquer North India once again. So we have again invasion starting. We have Greeks again invading India. So this era is the era of post-Mauryan. In the post-Mauryan era, what we have is political fragmentation. Political fragmentation. India is no more united like it was in the time of Mauryan Empire. We have, if you look at the map of India, in Deccan, you have Satavahanas. In south, we have Sangam literature, Sangam era. In the Odisha region, we have Kharavela. In north, uh, in the eastern part of north, we have Shunga, who were the followers नहीं कहूँगा, the successors of Mauryas. And when Shungas were gone after a century, we have Kanavas. And in case of northwest part, here we have all the foreign rulers coming one after another, Greeks or rather Indo-Greeks. Then we have Shakas, Parthians, and then Kushanas. Kushanas. So Indo-Greeks, Shakas, Parthians, Kushanas. So this area is under control of the invading foreigner powers. The politically fragmented India with lot of cultural diversity, but this era is not that backward an era. It is actually a very progressive era in a sense that इसी era में बहुत चीजें हुई है, बहुत चीजें. For example, this is the time, if you go for economy, it's a time of Silk Route. It is a time of the Roman trade, Indo-Roman trade. One. Secondly, if you go in the religious domain, this is the time of emergence of a next version of Buddhism called as Mahayana Buddhism. It's a very bhakti oriented Buddhism. It spread across Asia. In case of Hinduism also, Shaivism, Vaishnavism start becoming important. शायद इनके roots पुराने हैं, but they start becoming important in this era. Then, if you go to architecture, यही era है when stupas proliferate across India. Rock cut caves सब जगह फैलते हैं. If you go to even painting, this is the beginning of the Ajanta painting. If you go to literature, यहाँ पे अश्वघोष है, who wrote in Sanskrit, great dramatists. We have even Bhasa in Sanskrit, again great dramatist. UPSC has asked question on both of them. If you go in the socio-religious domain, this is the era of the composition of Manusmriti as well. If you go in the performing arts, this is the era of Bharata Muni's Natya Shastra. तो कई सारी चीजें जो है जो हमारे आज तक रिलेवेंट है, अच्छी बुरी जैसे भी हो, दे कम फ्रॉम दिस era. It's a very vibrant era, post-Mauryan. It creates a background and prosperity and cultural diversity which keeps on thriving. And then from that prosperity emerges next era, which is Gupta era. Gupta era. Gupta era is the one in which again substantial part of North India is reunited. Substantial part. Lot of great kings like Chandragupta first and second, Samudragupta, Kumar Gupta, Skanda Gupta, and many other Guptas who come later. They are there. It's a time of Kalidas, time of great Ajanta paintings, time of Sarnath Buddha, etc. Again, so यहाँ पे इसको कई बार लोग कहते हैं golden age. Golden age. It is also said to be a classical age. Golden age and classical age. Golden age for all round prosperity and classical age for achievements in the artistic field. And then we have this era lasting for some century, at the end of which we again have the invasion, this time of Hunas, Huns, white Huns, etc. One branch of Hunas goes to Europe. We know Attila the Hun, how he destroyed a lot of places in Europe. Stories बड़े जानते हैं, हम बचपन से सुनते आए. One branch of Huns came to India, Mihirkul, Toraman, and it rampaged and destroyed lots of North India. पंजाब जीत लिया, गंगा वैली में आ गए, फिर घुस के मालवा में मध्य प्रदेश में आ गए, गुजरात में जीत, तो मैसिव डिस्ट्रक्शन, बट दे डिस्ट्रॉयड गुप्ता एम्पायर. नाउ this is the time when ancient era ends. From here onwards, a different type of India begins, and that would be our early medieval. ठीक है, दिस इज द स्टोरी जो एक बैच में हो चुकी है, दूसरे बैच हम यहाँ से शुरू करेंगे. यहाँ पे we begin the next phase. So if I have to look at this timeline, so this part, this entire part is nothing but ancient India. We cover in ancient India.